So guys, congratulations, we made it. We went above $10,000 pretty much in the way that we expected. Very sharp, without significant corrections, just like we did with $6,000, and our general expectations about this trend were correct. I forgot to tell about this yesterday, but actually there was a green 9 on TD sequential, which in principle, after we will have red 1 here, may be a signal of the reversal, but we didn't have this red 1, so it didn't play out. Actually, once again, because it was very similar before. So the main question right now is where we will see the correction, right? Until which area the price will go. And yesterday we were looking at the area of $11,500 because it was the Fibonacci retracement level and some other factors. You can watch the previous video. But also I forgot to tell you that actually when we were looking at our multiplied moving averages on daily time frame and 350 days moving average, which is a part of the system predicting the key levels for Bitcoin. Again, here is the link to the video which I'm talking about. So one of those key moving average levels is here at $11,200. So it's pretty much around the same area which we were talking about. And for example, you can look at the previous line here, how price did react with that line and have a pullback from that and actually find this as a support after it broke it upwards. So we may expect pretty much similar thing happen once again during this rise. Speaking about that, we shall remember that also we're looking at the dependence between the price and the capitalization of Tether, and this rise, as many times before, we also looked at this in previous videos. So this rise of Bitcoin started 33 days after the rise of the capitalization of Tether, and actually if you look at this rise of the capitalization of Tether, you will see that around here there was a slowdown and pretty much flat area, and if we will add 33 days to this date, you will have 28th of June, so in 6 days from now. And following this scenario, you may expect the continuation of the growth until then, maybe a bit slower than this parabolic move, but still. And then after that, we may see a sideways price action, a pullback, or maybe some significant correction, but this may also be in line with the level of $11,500, which we were talking about before. Another thing is, if you remember, we had this support line which played out all the history of Bitcoin price action and served as a support for the bottoms, and the price didn't go below that except the current bear market when we finally broke it to the downside, and now the price is again very close to this line, which is around $12,000, but it's also very close to the important zone of the price which we were talking about, $11,500, $12,000. So we may expect a strong integrated resistance in this area. So, and exactly this is the area which I would pay attention to. In other words, I don't think that this growth is ended. I think we still have some energy left. And also you can look at the number of shorts and number of longs. So while the number of longs is growing slightly, the number of shorts is actually growing even more. So we may expect it going to the same area that it was before in the previous rise. Moreover, the ratio of longs to shorts is still going down. It means that technically the rise is more profitable, more desirable for the market because more short orders will be liquidated and closed, and this will still serve as a fuel for the future rise. Probably it may end somewhere around here, but until then, we still have some room to grow. I guess that the short orders still keep growing, and especially because we have this gap on CME futures still not filled, and people are looking at this expecting this to be filled with the price going to $8,500. And moreover, since right now this is the weekend time and we are potentially forming another gap because CME futures price was closed at $10,015, while the spot price right now is at $11,000, almost $800, and may still even grow. So we potentially have another gap on CME futures. So many people probably still want to play this card, especially looking at the previous cases when those gaps were filled. But guys, I don't really recommend this. Of course, just my personal opinion, not a financial advice, but this is really risky to bet on such events. Moreover, if you look at this price action a little bit zoomed out, you would find many similarities, and we also were talking about this before with the previous accumulation and the rise period. So you see here, it was the rise, correction, rise with a higher high, a bigger correction, then a new higher high, a little bit of the sideways, and a parabolic move. Here we had the rise, correction, new high, higher high, bigger correction, one more higher high, a little bit of sideways price action, and a parabolic move again. In fact, if you'll compare this size of this parabolic move and this one, and recalling the correlation with the capitalization of Tether, it still implies that we have some room to grow, again, maybe to this $12,000 mark. Again, technically, such growth must be corrected, and this is the general paradigm. It often happens, but recent 3 months, the biggest correction that we had, it was here, and basically it was like the smallest drop by the Fibonacci retracement map. So maybe this still will continue, especially since we are above $10,000 mark, and this is already the point where a lot of the mass media will start to cover it. Everybody will talk about it, new wave of FOMO, so it may be really, really unpredictable. Speaking about the FOMO and parabolic rises, you probably know Peter Brandt, and recently he tweeted to all of his nearly 300,000 followers on Twitter that Bitcoin takes aim at $100,000 target. Bitcoin is experiencing its fourth parabolic phase dating back to 2010. No other market in my 45 years of trading has gone parabolic on a log chart in this manner. Bitcoin is a market like no other. And indeed, you see his parabolas, which he drew on the price of Bitcoin. First one, very sharp, and the second one less sharp, and the third one, not that crazy, although it's still logarithmic chart, right? And the fourth just started. In fact, its slope may change, but you can see that the growth becomes slower and slower with each cycle. In any case, even in this scenario, we will have a new all-time high, and since this is a logarithmic chart, the growth will be amazing. Now many people are wondering, what shall we do? Where shall we buy? Shall we wait for the correction? Maybe we'll buy now because the price may shoot to $14,000, $15,000 or $20,000. What is the proper way to do that? What I can tell for sure is that it's really hard to find the entry on a parabolic curve unless there are like significant corrections like 30-40%. But I would like to point out a couple of tweets. One is from Nunia Business, and he's saying that if you invest $100 every month, starting from the peak in December 2017 and ending at the low in December 2018, then right now you will already be in profit. And of course, if you'll continue to invest after the low, then you will be in a bigger profit. So even such a crazy dollar cost averaging started from the top makes sense in a market such as Bitcoin. Continuing that, another tweet about similar thing. So if you'll put $1 daily, not a monthly, but daily into Bitcoin for the past 1 year, you will be close to doubling your money. In fact, it was 80% when the price was around $9,000, so probably right now you'll be really close to 100% of your ROI. So guys, the main point probably is that you shouldn't, of course, invest everything, because we may see the drop as crazy as we see the rise. We may return to very low levels, and then if you would like need your money, then you probably will suffer. But very careful investments with slow and gradual averaging, buying the dips, not being too greedy, and always keeping some fiat aside, I think is the very reliable strategy if you don't want to mess up with trading on a daily basis. Okay guys, that is it for today. And once again, tomorrow I will go to my trip and I will have my flight, very long one. So probably there will be no video tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow I will try to make an update. Still, I will post something on Telegram, except those 10 hours flight, which I will be free from the charts and from internet. So please bear with me. And so far, I wish you safe trading and see you in the next video. Goodbye.